you need to improve and maybe what's been breaking down?
Well, you look at it last week. Last week it was as much assignment as it was physical. I mean, we played a great back in Graham, and he made some people miss, as he can well do. But the thing that probably frustrated me in that game, and looking back at where we are, we probably have been doing a little bit too much. We maybe we're confused. We're playing a little bit on our heels. I think we need to be more aggressive, especially with our linebackers. When you sit down and look at the film and all the cut-ups and the statistics and where we are, but I think we've got to get into more of a stop the run first. Last year we were pretty strong, pretty stout against the run, but our pass defense was something we were looking to improve, and it seems like we've improved it, but at the cost of maybe being a little bit more passive against the run. We've got to go back, especially this week. I mean, that's what they're going to do. They're going to turn the line up and run the ball on us. So we're going to have to be more aggressive, a little bit more inside run and things like that, and what we emphasized last week.
We talked a little bit first of the year about you going back to Notre Dame, now you're going back to Connecticut. Any special feelings there for you?
No, been a lot of homecomings, you know. I mean, I don't think East Carolina's on the schedule. We would have hit our last three, but no, it's. I mean, it'll be neat to go up there. I've not seen the stadium since they built it. When I left there, almost, I mean, I guess it was 12, 13, 14 years ago when I left there, when they had made the announcement and the move to join the Big East and to go Division I. I think they've done a great job of building the program, the facilities on campus. I have not had the opportunity to be in the stadium. So it'll be neat to go back and see a lot of people the friendships that we made while we were there. But at the same time, we're going back for a football game.
East Carolina might be on the schedule soon. Can you talk about Big East expansion and TCU going to the Big 12?
Yeah, I know with that announcement coming out, nobody'd like to see it. We keep talking about stability, wanting to try and create stability, rivalry games, kind of the relationships that go along with being in a conference. And with some of the changes that the Big East went through 12 years ago it was now, I guess, with Boston College, Virginia Tech, and Miami leaving the league. And I think the league really is a strong league. There's still some great members in this conference. When you start looking at the Connecticut and the Rutgers and Louisville and Cincinnati and West Virginia and South Florida, I think there's still some strong teams. I don't know where they're going to go or what they're going to do. I hear all the names like everybody else in this room from people that would be worthy candidates to turn and join the league. But I think right now, I think the league, I believe there's some strong football teams in this league. I think there's obviously the basketball background and what it's done from a basketball conference. But I believe that the people, whoever is going to make those decisions, will sit down and they'll make the right decisions to have the right teams to strengthen this league as we go forward. But at this point, I have absolutely no clue who those teams will be.
Can USF grow as a program better in the Big East than it could elsewhere, you think, Skip? Or what's your feeling on the
No,
way
right now, I
for
keep
that?
saying through this whole thing, I've always said I'm for whatever's best for South Florida, whatever's best for the Big East Conference. I believe in the conference that we're playing in right now. Very grateful for the Big East giving us an opportunity to turn to be in it. I would like to see this conference continue to grow. I mean, where we are, there's some great football coaches, there's some great teams, and there's some great talent in this league. I'd like to see us continue to grow and build it. I have no idea what the future holds, where we're going, who's going to do what other schools are going to do, where South Florida and our future. I mean, everybody's kind of in a projection on who's going where and who would be best where. I think the best thing we can do is continue to build this program where we are in the conference we're in. And right now, I'm excited to have the opportunity to be part of the Big East Conference. I know 7 years ago, 8 years ago, we were where many of these other schools are right now wanting to be in this league. So I'm excited to have the opportunity we do to be in this league right now.
How imperative is for you guys to have a big turnaround game and revert back to the way you played the first 4 games, coming off a game like you did at Pitt?
I think it's important for us, not necessarily, and I don't know if that one was referring towards conference expansion stuff, but I think for us, it's important for us, our confidence as a football team, to be able to look back at that game. As I told the team, I don't mind losing to Pitt as long as we can grow and develop from that loss and we're a better football program going forward. To lose to Pitt, to not make any progress, to not make any growth, to not learn anything from it and continue going down that path would be a shame, because I think this football team has some talent and they want to be good, and this will be a great challenge for us. Everybody keeps talking about parity in this league. Every football team can line up and beat anybody, and I think you've got to be prepared. I walked in here this press conference a couple weeks ago and talked about Pitt being 2-2 at that time. and how strong they were and how impressed I was with them, even more so with the way they played against us on Thursday night. But I feel the same way about Connecticut. You can't look at them and say, well, they're 2-4. They've lost some really close football games, and they're 3 plays away from sitting here saying they have the same record we do. They're a strong football team. I think it's important for us to get back on the right foot. I think it's important for our players. And sometimes when you lose a game and you have an open date, you go out and you make it a physical game, a physical week of practice. And a lot of the players go out and kind of hit on each other and get all their frustrations out from a loss. And then you hear them say, "Ooh, well, I feel much better now that we got some of that out." But the only way we can get that feeling to go away is in that locker room after the game at Connecticut. And that's what everything we're doing is not. We didn't do what we did to punish them. We didn't do what we did because we lost. We did what we did because that's what we felt like we needed to do to get better. But the only way we can get rid of that pit in our stomach is to turn and get a win this weekend.
How have you seen the guys respond so far through practice in the last 2 weeks?
I mean, it's been a somber mood. It certainly hasn't been Chuckles the Clown and everybody giggles and laughs, out there in practice. I mean, it has been a workman-type mindset. It's been a hard work type of attitude. It's been very somber, very quiet, very down. I mean, it's from it hasn't been just everybody upbeat and positive. I mean, they've gone to work. They've gone to work. I think they're as probably frustrated and angry as we are. And as I told them, we all have something to be a little bit embarrassed about. I think we got outplayed, we got out-executed, and we got out-coached in that game. And I think for anybody that's got any competitive fire or juices in their body, you roll your sleeves up, and the 2 choices you have is to stick your head in the sand and say, oh well, or to turn and roll your sleeves up and say, let's compete. And right now, I think they're competing.
When you see Pittsburgh turn around and lose the next week, do the guys view that as an opportunity lost or as something that goes a long way to putting you guys back in control if you're going to Big East destiny?
Nobody has gone through this league undefeated yet. I mean, nobody's gone through and won it undefeated. The thing I think that was frustrating in that game was watching so many of the miscues by Pittsburgh that were self-induced.
Mm-hmm.
They played a near flawless game against us. They were clicking. They played well, and they come back the next week, and you see it's like, wow. Wish it would have snapped it over his head against us. So wish it would, I mean, some of those. But I think right now it's still awful early. It's still awful early. We've just got to continue to focus on us right now. When we start getting down with maybe 2 games left in the league or something, then you start talking about control and destiny and where you are. But right now I think we just have to focus on what we're doing. Right now that's kind of water under the bridge.
Go ahead, Greg.
I know you weren't here 2 years ago, but a lot of your players were. The way that they've beaten you guys on last-minute kicks the last 2 times, how strong a motivation is that for you guys, and how good a motivation is that to?
Well, I went through last year's experience, and I don't think it becomes a revenge game. That's not your motivation to why you want to go win. But I do think it serves as a respect of your opponent for what kind of football program they have. It's not like we've never played Connecticut before. They know it's going to be a physical game. They know it's going to be a heavyweight fight. You're going to stand there toe-to-toe, and it's going to be a 60-minute game. It's been proven the last couple of years playing this football team. I think it goes a long way in serving as respect that we have for the opponent that we're about to play this week, regardless of what the record is right now. We've got to look at it like we understand what we're walking into. So I don't think it'll be a motivating factor as far as a revenge factor, but I certainly think it'll go a long way in helping us understand what we're about to walk into on the road at Connecticut against right now what would be it's a very proud program. They're the program that went to a BCS bowl game last year, and I'm sure they're just as frustrated with their 4 losses as we are with our 1 last week. So I'm sure they're going to be highly motivated. They're going to come in. They're not going to lay down. Because they're 2-4. If anything, they're going to fight that much harder.
Would you like to see BJ take more shots down the field?
I would, but at the same time, I think you have to be careful. There aren't a lot of teams running a spread offense that are just dropping back and throwing it down the field. And those that are have guys on the outside that are just going down the field and taking the ball away from somebody. The way that you get people open downfield with down the field shots is much more with the run game and the play action pass off of it, because it buys you more time than just a straight drop back with the DNs peeling their ears back and coming off the corner. So when you run a spread offense, you look for your big plays more with a broken tackle and hitting the guy in an under route and being able to run with it a little bit more. So as little as we've been in 2 back, hard nose, kind of bunched up, running the ball, I don't want to see us just drop back and start chunking it down the field, because the thing that this team does against you is like I said, they stop the run. If they're going to have a 9-man front or an 8-man. They're going to outnumber you. Not by, a lot of people say, well, they're going to play an 8-man front. These guys play a 9-man front. And when you play with one back, they're going to have an 8-man front. And when you play with no backs, they're going to have a 7-man front. They stop the run. That's their mindset. So with everybody up in there and the blitz packages they have, we're just going to have to be careful when we take our shots. But I'd like to see us complete more down the field throws. Yes, I would love to see that. I would love to see another 150 yards and 3 big plays a game. I would love to see us be able to do that. But we have not thrown the deep ball very well, nor have we gone up and made a lot of plays on it. We've taken a couple of games where we've tried to throw some fades down in the end zone to give a receiver an opportunity to make a play one-on-one, and we have not been very successful with that to this point.
Skip, has Elkino Watson been your most impressive freshman?
Yes. Elkino, he's improving. Elkino's one of those guys, you look at him on film, and sometimes he's unorthodox, his feet are crossed, his shoulders are turned. I mean, everything you teach against, and then he squirms through and finds the ball and goes and makes a play. I mean, he's one of those, as a coach, probably that's kind of that no, go. You look at what he does sometimes and I wish he did more of this and I wish he did more of that and I wish he was a little better fundamentally, but really impressed with his sense for the ball, his nose for the ball, and the way he plays the game. He's been really impressive for a freshman. We knew when we signed him that he had a chance to come in and make an impact. I didn't realize it would be as strong as it is. I mean, he is outperforming even our highest expectations, and we expected him to come in and contribute to this football team this year. So I think that speaks volumes for Elkino, and I think he will only get better. I think as he continues to develop fundamentally and understand the defense and what people were trying to do to him from a scheme standpoint offensively, I think he'll only get better, but he's off to a great start. He's been impressive.
Coach, you alluded to parity a little while ago. For the first time in a long, long time, there are no teams in this state that are ranked in the top 25. What would you attribute that to?
The biggest thing I see is stability. I think stability is huge in a program, to be able to build a successful program. And I don't believe there's a coach in the state that's been in place for more than 2 years. When you look at the 4 schools that have been in a BCS conference, I don't think there's anybody been in place. We've all had turnover. We've all had change. You had Coach Bowden with all that stability for all those years at Florida State. Even with Miami and Florida, I mean, you've seen coaches tenures that are 5, 6, 7 years where you have a lot of longevity and coaches are able to come in and build their program and recruit the talent to what they're trying to do. So I would attribute to as much to stability as I would anything. I think every one of the programs in state has an opportunity to continue to build it. I mean, continue to build it to get to that point when the season's over. I think there are still strong teams in this league, but I just don't think that we've had the same stability we had for all those years. When you look at all the changes that have gone on, every school's changed in the last 2 years. Anything else? Thank you all for your time very much.